The strangest part of a blown budget is that almost none of the purchases look guilty when they happen. A snack at checkout, a delivery fee, a replacement charger, the insurance letter you didn't ask for. People consistently underestimate how much little expenses add up because they judge purchases one at a time, not as one cumulative total. And that's the trap. Each small or exceptional purchase can feel reasonable by itself, while the combined consequences quietly take money you thought was still there. That's the contradiction. You can be responsible in the moment and still be surprised at the end of the month. I used to think budget leaks came from obvious mistakes. Big purchases, impulse splurges, the kind of thing you remember because you had to justify it twice. Once at checkout, once to yourself later. But then I looked at an ordinary pile. A grocery receipt, a utility bill, a gas receipt, a subscription list on my phone, and one insurance notice sitting on the counter like it owned the kitchen. Nothing dramatic, and somehow it still felt like money had disappeared. That's when I remembered a 2012 paper by Sussman and Alter called "The Exception is the Rule." They found that consumers consistently underestimate spending on exceptional expenses. Not because every person is careless, not because people can't add. The uncomfortable part is simpler. An exception feels like it doesn't belong with everything else, so it gets judged alone. The grocery run with the extra snack? Food is food. The gas pump? Need to get to work. The utility bill? Weather changed. The streaming service? Family uses it. The small fee on the delivery app? I was busy. The replacement charger? Exceptional. The birthday gift? Exceptional. The medicine cabinet refill? Exceptional. One by one, every purchase has a defense. Each one walks into court and gets acquitted. But the court never hears the whole case together. And that's where it gets weird. Because exceptional sounds rare. It sounds like something that happens outside the normal budget. A one-off, a special case, a little detour. But if every month has a different exception, is it still an exception? That question bothered me because it explains a feeling almost every household knows. The bank balance at the end of the month doesn't match the memory of your decisions. You think, I didn't buy anything crazy, and you might be right. That's the problem. A budget can get worn down by reasonable purchases that never have to stand next to each other. My aunt used to say, a leaking roof doesn't ask permission. It just drips. Quietly, consistently. And then one day you look up and the ceiling has a stain. That's how little expenses work when they're judged one at a time. They don't arrive as a leak. They arrive as Tuesday. The gas pump is Thursday. The rent renewal is some serious envelope you open standing in the kitchen. The insurance letter gets read with one eyebrow raised. The subscription charge is a line you notice only if you're already annoyed. Emotionally, they don't feel connected, so your brain doesn't total them emotionally. But your bank account does. That's the part I think most budgeting advice skips. It acts like the main problem is discipline. Stop buying coffee. Stop ordering delivery. Stop saying yes to little things. Sometimes that advice helps, but it misses the mechanism. The deeper problem is not just that the expenses are small. It's that small expenses are easier to mentally separate, and exceptional expenses are even easier to excuse, because they come with a story built in. The charger broke. The kid needed shoes again. The medicine cabinet was empty. The premium changed. The pantry was low. And none of those are fake problems. That's what makes this so hard. Solving a real problem can still create unintended consequences in the budget. Modern life is almost designed to make purchases feel separate. Grocery shelves don't say, this small increase will meet your insurance bill later. Utility bills don't say, please compare me with the subscription you forgot about. Delivery apps don't pause at checkout and ask, would you like to view this fee as part of your monthly pattern? Subscriptions don't gather in one room and introduce themselves as a committee. They arrive alone, and alone they look innocent. Accounting Insights described small, frequent purchases as often underestimated or entirely overlooked, contributing to expense leakage. I like that phrase because it sounds like plumbing, and honestly, that's closer to the truth than most personal finance language. You don't wake up and decide to flood the house. You just don't notice the drip. Now here's the part that made me take this more seriously. This kind of underestimation isn't only about household spending. A 2016 Science Direct paper on project costs found significant underestimation in the front-end phase of projects in its sample, warning that it can lead to suboptimal projects being approved. Think about that. Even in projects, where planning is the job, people can still underestimate costs early. So when a normal household is trying to track groceries, gas, utilities, insurance, rent changes, subscriptions, and every little we need this purchase, maybe the surprise at the end of the month isn't proof that you're irresponsible. Maybe it's proof that the brain is bad at seeing totals when life presents costs as separate events. And this is where the system quietly helps the mistake along. A lot of companies solved a real problem. Friction. Standing in line was friction. Re-entering your card was friction. Remembering to reorder household supplies was friction. Paying one big annual bill was friction. Running out of something and making a separate trip was friction. So everything got smoother. Subscriptions renew. Apps save your payment. Retailers show delivery thresholds. Insurance and utilities spread costs into recurring bills. Grocery stores package convenience into the shelf. And some of that's genuinely useful. Nobody wants life to be harder, just to make budgeting more dramatic. But solving friction created new consequences. First, memory gets outsourced. If the card is saved and the receipt goes to an email you never open, the purchase leaves almost no mark. Second, frequency gets easier. A small purchase that used to require effort can happen while you're half listening to a podcast. Third, comparison gets harder. You don't naturally compare the grocery shelf, the gas pump, the utility bill, the subscription tab, and the insurance letter at the same time. That's the pattern. You judge the moment. The budget pays for the pattern. I started noticing one word everywhere. Just. It's just a small purchase. Just this once. Just because we're out. Just because I'm tired. Just because prices are up. Just because the kids need it. Just because it's easier. The annoying part is that many of those reasons are valid. This isn't a morality story where every little expense is bad. Sometimes the delivery fee buys back time. Sometimes the replacement charger is necessary. Sometimes the grocery item that looks extra is the thing that keeps dinner from becoming a whole second problem. But a purchase can be reasonable and still need to be counted. That's the missing step. The danger isn't that every little purchase is wrong. The danger is letting each one decide its own innocence without asking what all of them are doing together. At my kitchen table, I tried something simple. I stopped sorting purchases by whether they felt justified and started sorting them by whether they had used the word exceptional to escape the budget. The charger, the gift, the refill, the extra grocery items, the insurance increase. Not because they were bad, because they were hiding in different rooms. And once they were in one place, the story changed. The question was no longer, was this purchase okay? The question became, how many okay purchases can my month actually absorb? That's a much better question, because it doesn't shame the individual decision. It forces the cumulative total into view. My grandmother had a saying, one spoon at a time empties the pot. As a child, I thought she was talking about soup. She was talking about life. People often underestimate how much small or exceptional expenses add up because they tend to judge purchases one at a time rather than as part of a cumulative total. That folded grocery receipt in your pocket is not just a record of one errand. It might be a stack of little permissions you gave yourself, one purchase at a time. So here's the specific question. When you look at your last grocery receipt, which category did you forgive because it felt small or exceptional? Snack, convenience item, household refill,